Hello and welcome to another episode of the Gentle Business Space podcast. I'm Fabi, I'm a nervous system friendly business and systems mentor, and I support other sensitive women build an aligned and sustainable, heart-centered business with more clarity and calm and structure so that you can really grow your business without burning out. And today I want to talk about something around motivation. What inspires and motivates you to do your work on a daily basis? First of all, I wanted to start with that not always being motivated in your business is absolutely normal. I think there can be a lot of pressure of always feeling great about everything that you do and on a daily basis. And I think especially because we go into running our own business because we want to feel better and we want to share what we love, there's an expectation of I should always feel good about it, about my work every single day. And that's a lot of pressure. So I want to start there and say that it's absolutely normal not to always feel amazing and motivated and really passionate about everything that you do on a daily basis. Of course, you want to like and enjoy and love your work, but it doesn't mean that we have to feel 100% inspired every single day. And there will be phases where things, novelty kind of wears off a little bit and we get into the day-to-day routine, and that's not always exciting because the day-to-day running of a business can just be a little bit boring sometimes. And sometimes we get into that kind of loop of, we kind of just get on with our work, and yes, that can sometimes feel not too inspiring or maybe even a little bit boring at times. But if that happens like long term, then it can really feel like you're disconnected from your business, feeling like the bigger purpose is maybe missing, there's some excitement missing. And that's fair enough. And I think sometimes if that happens over a long time, we can look at, okay, what isn't working? Why am I not feeling this? Why am I not feeling connected to my work? What needs to change? And I think, especially if you've experienced burnout, I think there's a tendency to play it safe, to get rid of all stress, very understandably, and I've done the same, to really get rid of anything that might cause extra stress that, it's just too much. You really want to avoid overwhelm and really strip back to, get rid of anything that's not essential. And I think generally that's a really good approach. And I think it's good to, not just do things for the sake of it. But sometimes it can also lead to create an environment that doesn't inspire us anymore, because we created this safe bubble of only, step by step, and that's all really relevant, but not wanting to step out of that. And I think sometimes we can then get rid of what really motivates us, what inspires us, and then we kind of get stuck in, okay, this isn't feeling aligned anymore, or this doesn't inspire me anymore. And there's a few different levels of motivation I wanted to talk about today. And one is the bigger picture. I think that's a really important one. The kind of bigger question of why are you doing what you're doing? What inspires you to do your work? So that might be you really want to help your clients with something that you have experienced yourself. So I know a lot of people that experience burnout themselves want to then create something that, help them and that they can pass on to other people. And that might be their inner motivations that really drives you to do your work. Maybe there's, a bigger issue that you see in the world and you want to help change that. And again, it creates that inner drive. But sometimes you might not have that as strongly. And especially if you kind of neglected maybe your own needs for a long time, I think it's really hard to connect just to that outer purpose. Of course, that might be there, but that might not always just be the one motivation. So there might also be things like money, earning enough money to provide for you and your family, and to allow you to take time off, to allow you to work differently, to allow you to spend time with your children, or, you and your partner, or for yourself to go on holidays, whatever it is. There's something that motivates you to do the work that you do. And I really notice when we don't have that, it can be really difficult to show up to do our work, because otherwise it's a bit like, well, why am I doing this? So I think connecting on a regular basis to that bigger picture of, okay, this drives me. I want to, it can just be financial purposes of, I want to be able to earn this much because this is going to allow me to take time off, to have freedom, to be flexible, to take care of my children. So really going deeper into that purpose, not just, yes, to earn more money, to help others, but really going deeper into it of, what will that allow me to do? Why is that important to me? So we're connecting to our values and what's important to us in life. And that can really help us to show up, to do our work, to really be connected to that bigger purpose. And it can just help on a day-to-day basis to really do our work. And that then trickles into kind of the day-to-day. So what motivates you to do your work on a day-to-day basis? And in many ways that is connected to that bigger picture of, okay, I'm doing this work today because that will allow me to take some time off, to be more flexible, to spend time with my children, to see my family whenever I need to or want to. So whatever it is for you, that kind of bigger motivation trickles then into the day-to-day and can remind us, okay, this is why I'm doing this. So on days that we feel really disconnected, or I don't really want to do this, which is absolutely normal. We can honor that, we can acknowledge that, and that's absolutely fine. But then we can connect to that deeper purpose of, okay, I'm doing this because this allows me to, whatever it is that motivates you. And then on the kind of next level from that, I think it's also really important to look at what inspires you and what brings you joy. Because yes, we have the kind of bigger motivation, but sometimes that's hard to connect to. And I think on a day-to-day basis, when we do our work, we can get stuck in let's just do it, let's just get this done. And then it can feel very much like, well, just being in a job again. We create this structure maybe for ourselves that works, and we do our work, but it becomes a little bit routine-y. It becomes, okay, I just turn up every morning, I do my work, and then I finish. And if you're somebody who needs lots of motivation and inspiration to do your work, and I think most of us do, then we need to make sure to still make space for the things that inspire us. Because when we're inspired, we bring that into our work as well. So when we shield ourselves too much from any extra stress, I think it can sometimes also lead to cutting away all that inspiration and the things that bring us joy, and we kind of get stuck into that daily routine that just might not serve us. So it might be a point of reflecting of, okay, how do I feel about my day to day? So I know for myself is when I was employed, I think I was always craving for the freedom and, working when I want to work and working in an environment that really brings me joy, listening to music when I work and just creating a nice space. And I can easily now go into that space of, well, I just need to get my work done. And that's just not very joyful, is it? I think it's about bringing a little bit of joy again into our day-to-day lives and work, and invite that really into our working day. So this could be anything from how you structure your offerings, your week or your day. Really reconnecting to what inspires you. Let's start with what inspires you. So maybe you want to write a list of everything that inspires you. So these are the things that, create that inner drive of, yes, this is important. I think we need to surround ourselves with that, because otherwise we can easily lose that drive of wanting to move forward. So it might be things like listening to certain podcasts, or certain coaches that you work with that you find really inspiring, or just being in communication with other people within your field. That might be really inspiring for you, hearing other people's work, or hearing about how far somebody else has come. Reading certain books, learning more, that can be really inspiring, I always find. So not to go onto the list of endless trainings and always learning more, but I think we can get stuck in a loop there as well. But if learning new things inspires you, how can you integrate these things into your day-to-day or week without it being overwhelming? So always finding the balance of, okay, I know training or reading or learning inspires me. It doesn't need to be a thing that we do on a day-to-day basis, but because it can easily become overwhelming as well. So really finding a way to integrate that without causing overwhelm. So I invite you to just list everything that inspires you. So the things that kind of bring that inner drive and motivation back to you. And then from that, also looking at what brings you joy. Again, I think it's something we can cut out very quickly. We get into that routine. But so much of our work, I think it's so important to invite joy to our days, to our weeks. So we bring that back into our work as well, I think. So again, maybe listing what brings you joy. And again, that might be things like what kind of work and offerings bring you joy and inspire you. What activities on a day-to-day basis, and they might not be business related, bring you joy. So is it maybe being creative, or going for walks, or exercising, or seeing friends? All these kind of little and big things that bring you joy. Can you notice if they're part of your life? Without judgment, just noticing, are we making time for that or not? And I know I very easily myself, I easily cut that out of my life. Not cut it out of my life, but it can easily move to the side because other things seem more important. But I think making time for these things, listening to things that inspire you, engaging with things that inspire you, as well as making time for the things that bring you joy, like creativity, or again, reading, and something else that's not business related maybe. These are all things that then again inspire us to create new things, to create offerings that really feel aligned, to really connect to our motivation and bring that inner drive back, when sometimes we might feel a little bit disconnected and, this feels a bit tiring. And also with the joy, I think it's the day-to-day things, like creating an environment of ease, and it's surrounding yourself when you work with things that bring you joy. Then, creating, clearing a desk, creating an environment that really connects to you. If it's an affirmation on the side of your desk, or, playing music maybe whilst you're working, bringing that joy into your work day. It might mean not just sitting at your desk all day long working, but allowing yourself to move to the sofa or sit outside, especially as it's getting sunny again outside. So I think we can get really strict on how things should be, how I should be working, delivering as well as our day-to-day work, and then it can become a little bit boring, disconnected, just not that nice to work every day. So if we invite those things, those moments of joy and inspiration again, surrounding ourselves, like really physically surrounding ourselves with the things that bring us joy, and working in a way that invites joy. And again, might be those little breaks of listening to music and dancing around the house, and, drinking your favorite drink in the morning. If it's a nice coffee or something that soothes you or makes you feel good. So we don't need to cut all of these things out, but actually make space for them. Because the more inspiration and things around us that bring us joy and motivation, the more inspired we are within our work. And when we're inspired and motivated within our work, I think it shows how we show up, how we share, what we're offering, because it all feels more connected. So I invite you to maybe write some lists of the things that inspire you and the things that motivate you, the bigger picture and the day-to-day, and the things that bring you joy. And maybe see how you can invite more of these things into your day-to-day without causing overwhelm. We don't have to do everything straight away and everything all at once. Maybe it's one thing that you choose to, actually, I'm going to work more from my sofa. Or I take some more time in the morning to have a yoga practice before I start working, because that will bring me joy and that helps me connect and inspire me. So whatever it is for you, I invite you to allow a little bit of curiosity and openness and noticing what you need, what motivates you, what inspires you, what brings you joy, and to maybe invite that a little bit more into your day-to-day. And again, with that reminder that it's absolutely normal to not always feel motivated at 100%. So I really want to acknowledge that alongside. And we can honor that, we can make space for that, we can really hold space for that. And then we can notice, okay, what is it that I actually need? And invite more of that. So if you want to explore that more, I have a group offering as well as one-to-one work, whatever you prefer, around creating, it's a vision and planning reset, which is especially helpful if you're feeling a little bit disconnected. So we kind of reconnect to all of those things that are important to you, that feel aligned to you, and how you want to work according to your own capacity and to what feels aligned and joyful and right for you. So if you'd like to find out more, just message me. I'd love to send you some more information, or we can just have a chat about it. So please just get in touch if you're interested. And as always, feel free to comment any insights that you had from today's episode. And thank you so much for joining, and I will see you again soon. Take care.